Gouie is the newest character added to Rivals of Aether 2, and he wears his inspiration on his sleeve. He sports a variety of moves clearly inspired by the likes of Kirby and Jigglypuff, trying to recapture the notably beloved playstyle of a puffball who pokes and prods at you using strong airspeed and several double jumps. That being said, Gouie has a couple of unique properties that pretty significantly change his playstyle. In this video, we're going to take a look at Gouie's moves, his general game plan, and how his Rivals 2 flair differentiates him from characters like Jigglypuff and Kirby. Gouie has a number of unique stats, sporting the slowest run speed in the game, the lightest weight in the game, 6 jumps that can be turned around in midair, and very solid movement speed in the air. These stats make Gouie exist in extremes. He is a character that wants to avoid being hit while also wanting to stay airborne for the sake of his mobility. Gouie also has 3 unique mechanics that define his kit. They are the Mire, the Goobers, and the Growth mechanic. The Growth mechanic is largely tied to Gouie's neutral beam. Simply put, suck somebody up with neutral beam, and you will proceed to spit them out and get large. As large Gouie, you get a very significant weight buff and a slight kill power buff, at the cost of a hit to basically every movement stat, and some additional end lag on certain key moves like forward tilt. Large Gouie can also press neutral B again to shoot a charge shot S kill move, which leaves the Mire on the ground and turns it back into small Gouie. Finally, Gouie can also grow using his special pummel, or by sucking up 1 to 2 projectiles depending on their size. The Mire is a trap that Gouie can set up on stage. The Mire can be placed on the ground by doing large Gouie neutral B, hitting a down B, doing special pummel as large Gouie, or hitting a special getup either on stage or on the ledge. Once placed, 4 Goo hands will have a hitbox and hit anybody who touches them by grabbing them and forcing them into a tech situation. Gouie can hit players out of the Mire before they are pulled down, which sets up for combos or kill scenarios. The Mire is active for roughly 15 seconds before it goes on cooldown, and once it goes on cooldown, it can only be reactivated by feeding it an item or a Goober. Much like Lily, the Mire is fairly easy to deactivate with a parry. Goobers are the last unique mechanic featured in Gouie's kit, and they give him access to item play. Goobers can be spawned with up B or by charging his strong attacks for roughly 20 frames. I generally treat the Goobers like a turnip and as a way of accessing glide tossing. They have some unique applications in vertical combos or for catching people off stage. Gouie's normals largely get the job done and are emblematic of his archetype. His jab has a unique property that leaves him airborne on jab 3 and allows him to cancel it into aerials on hit. His up tilt functions as a quick combo starter that hits behind him, his F tilt is effectively a better version of Maples, and his down tilt is a forward advancing roll. While none of these moves are safe, up tilt and F tilt are pretty quick and reliable grounded normals that serve his game plan well. Dash attack is... well, we'll come back to that. Gouie's strong attacks are not super notable. Forward strong is 2 kicks in front of him, down strong is a spinning kick on either side, and up strong is a fast clap right above his head. You will most often be using up strong to find kill confirms on DIN after neutral B, forward throw, and back throw. Gouie's aerials are his bread and butter, being some of the best in the entire game. Up air is disjointed, hits above him in an arc, sets up for combos at low percents, and kills at later percents. Bear is a quick, disjointed poking tool that sets up for combos on DI-in and edge guards on DI away. Bear is a lingering forward hitbox that can combo into itself or carry people deep off stage. Dare is a drill that sets up for combos on stage and can snipe resources off stage. And finally, Nair has a strong hitbox that basically combos forever, and a weak lingering hitbox that is perfect either on the ledge or off stage. Additionally, if you hold Nair while landing, you get an extra hitbox while Gouie rolls across the ground. Due to Gouie's slow fall speed and how slow some of his grounded normals are, it is hard to make his aerials safe on shield while advancing. You're going to want to space each of these moves carefully or use them while drifting away to maximize their efficacy. Gouie's specials are a real mixed bag, ranging from largely useless to unbelievably good. Gouie's up B is a Yoshi-style up B that throws a Goober instead of an egg. This move can be solid for giving you an extra burst of upwards momentum off stage, or in some cases for using the Goober to extend your combos. Side B is a slingshot-style move that swaps sides back and forth depending on how long you charge it. The first charge shoots you forwards a little bit, the second charge shoots you backwards and can be cancelled into grounded moves, and the third charge sends you far forwards and allows you to jump cancel the move. This move is tough because the first charge doesn't send in an angle that facilitates combos, and the next 2 charges are far too slow to catch anybody really off guard, so it's largely relegated to an emergency horizontal recovery tool. Down B is essentially the same as Kirby's Down B, and is roughly just as situationally useful. It only has armor once the move has began instead of on startup, has a bunch of end lag, and sadly is largely just good for checking people who have wildly overextended an advantage. Strangely, it's not even that strong. And finally, the holy grail of special moves, Gooey's neutral V. And you might be thinking to yourself, Kirby and DDD's neutral Vs are like fine, but they've never really been standout moves. Gooey's neutral V is faster than those moves, can be comboed into, can't be shielded, allows for true combo follow-ups at low percents, and sets up for kill confirms, sometimes at any DI on high percents. This move is beautiful, and it is definitely a linchpin for defining Gooey's kit and his playstyle. Finally, Gooey's throws are pretty solid all around. Up throw combos into up air at lower percents, especially on floatier characters, and transitions into a kill move at later percents. F throw sends people at a pretty nasty angle on DI away, and allows for combo follow-ups or kill confirms on DI in. Down throw sets up for tech chases at low percents and can set up kill confirms on DI in at later percents. Back throw sets up combos or kill confirms on DI in as well, allowing it to function as basically a 50-50 setup in conjunction with F throw. Gooey's throws are also all extremely benefited by having access to large Gooey's neutral B, but we will get into that in a little bit. Before we get started, I wanted to mention that everything I'm talking about here is from a beta build of the game. These builds have a tendency to change just before release, and so some of the things I mention here may not be the same when Gouie releases in August. With that being said, I wanted to take a minute to talk about the aspects of Gouie that I feel like really work, the aspects that I feel like fall a little bit short, and the aspects that I'm quite disappointed in. Let's start with the good, because Gouie has a lot of interesting stuff going for him. I was originally underwhelmed by large Gouie, as his worst stats all around, increased combo ability, and mid-lane kill power upgrades rarely felt worth the increase in weight. However, the more I messed around with him in the lab, the more I found that his power is actually tied to the enhanced neutral B. Gouie's enhanced neutral B gives you access to kill confirms off of forward throw on DI away, down throw on DI in, fair on no DI or DI in, off of weak fair, and sometimes even out of item cost. You can even get suck into enhanced neutral B to connect as a kill confirm on DI away at some percentages, which is insanely threatening considering that no DI also has access to kill confirms. This gives Gouie a way to actively disincentivize shield usage, and to kill on stage in a way that is unique to his archetype. Additionally, Gouie's offstage presence is genuinely threatening, with several lingering moves taking up a ton of space. It can be legitimately hard or impossible to recover versus him in certain situations. He can also catch you with a number of DI checks where, if you are DIing moves like Dare or Fair in off stage, he can chain them together until you die at absurdly low percentages. Additionally, Nair is a great tool for catching people recovering to the ledge, and the Goobers can add an extra layer to his game plan at the ledge. Finally, Gouie's buttons feel great to press. I think this is something the devs have done good work on with the DLC characters in general. Much like Galvin's Bear, Lorena's Fair, and Slade's Upstrong, Gouie's Bear, Nair, and Up Air all feel good to press and function exactly how you would want them to. Now we get into some of the bad. Once again, please take this with a grain of salt. It is details from a pre-release build mixed with my opinions, but I wanted to be honest in sharing my impression going into the release. Gouie sadly has a number of moves that are either incredibly niche or bordering on useless. Down B is extremely situationally useful, side B is only really effective as a recovery tool, and even then it's pretty subpar due to its speed, and the saddest of all is dash attack. Dash attack has 2 hits that don't combo into one another, which means that if your opponent shields, they can grab between hits 1 and 2. If they floor hug hit 1, they can counterattack before hit 2, and most perplexing, if they simply DI away on hit 1, hit 2 is not large enough to connect, so they can whiff punish you on hit. This is made worse by the fact that dash attack doesn't send into tumble until around 50%, where it transitions back into a useful move. Much like Slade's side B, it is sad to have a character release with moves that don't really feel as though they have a place in the kit and are somewhat relegated to meme options. It can leave the character feeling a bit incomplete, especially in regard to his specials, and I think there was room for some more creativity in this area for Gouie in a way that felt more like viable. Another area in which Gouie struggles significantly is with floor hugging. Many of Gouie's aerials are not safe on shield unless he is drifting away or somehow manages to land one right as he is touching the ground, which can be a bit unforgiving to time because of his slow fall speed. This would be fine if hitting the moves actually felt like it did much at low percents. Unfortunately, every one of Gouie's normals and every single one of his aerials loses to floor hugging, with the only exception being Dare, which can beat floor hug if you land very quickly after getting the final hit, which can be a little bit inconsistent. Not only do they lose the floor hugging, but the only moves that actually start beating floor hug before 40 or 50% are up air and up tilt, which start beating it around 25. This is a huge problem for Gouie, as it means he has to rely on landing grabs at low percents or risks taking significant counter hits for a long time as the lightest character in the game. It makes playing the low percent game as Gouie feel much riskier than any other character because reversals and any damage that you take means so much more. This brings me to the ugly, which is the culmination of Gouie's strengths and weaknesses. I want to preface this section by saying I think the version of the Gouie that I got to play is solid. He's not blatantly weak like Slade was on release, and has some clearly defined strengths and weaknesses. The frustration that I'm having is how those strengths and weaknesses force him to play. Fighting games are about consistency, and in a world where the lightest character in the game gets reversaled constantly, but also has 40% to death potential off of nearly any move by the ledge, means that both players are heavily incentivized to camp each other. This is made worse by the fact that Gouie doesn't really have any reliable burst or approach options, and is slow enough for characters with any sort of disjoint to stuff out fairly reliably. Much like Slade, this has led to extremely slow games, even in pre-release games versus other pros. There will be an audience for this sort of character for sure, but I'm not sure the developers have intended to actively promote this extremely slow style of play twice in a row now, and it does not seem particularly fun or healthy for the game. They need somebody in the beta group who is willing to push these characters to time, because unfortunately it becomes very quickly once they hit the main branch that is how they are optimized, and there are people who are willing to do that. I hope some changes are made to both Slade and Gouie from the build that I have played that pushes them into a more interactive direction. I want to thank the devs again for giving me access to an early build to try out Gouie, and for allowing me to make a video that is reflective of my true thoughts. Overall, I think Gouie is a really unique character. The interweaving of neutral B and up B into his game plan differentiates him from the typical puffball characters, and his strengths both in the air and off stage are things that have not been totally explored in Rivals 2 yet. If any of that sounds appealing, Gouie might be for you. That being said, Rivals 2 is slowing down. Many characters are already played very slowly at the top level, and Slade and Gouie have brought that speed down considerably. I hope that as the meta and patches continue to develop, that the characters can be pushed to interact with each other more, instead of simply taking the safe route and camping. Thank you everybody for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more, and give me a follow